no conception of how stuff look like when you are blind. Well, that's one picturesque way to look at it. But when you are blind, you have a spirit on you that won't let you see how to go left nor right by yourself. There are some things that we do now. We've got good eyes to see. Some of us even boast that we got 20/20 vision. But see, in your seeing, you got to see beyond what you really see. Amen. Oh, come on now. I said you got to see beyond what you really see. Don't you know it's a trick of the devil to let you see stuff you really don't see? That's why there's so much confusion in the church. We see one thing. Why? Because the devil has given us a concept of how some stuff look. You can see two people talking and just get a concept of somebody talking about you when there's somebody ain't thinking about you. Why? Because there is a concept in your mind. Can I see? That's why you got to clear your mind. You got to renew your mind. You got to walk in faith. You got to have word in you so you don't see stuff you really don't see. Am I right about it? These two blind men ran up on Jesus. Now, how did they run up on Jesus blind? They might have hooked themselves to each other and got to hollering. I don't know, like the other blind Bartimaeus, amen, was hollering, Jesus! Because when you really want something, you ought to make a way to get it. Can I get a witness? The Bible says these two blind men followed Jesus into a house. Now, they weren't too blind. They either got instruction, it wasn't no map quest either. Can I get a witness? And I don't believe Jesus had that perfume on that was in such a way that they were following his perfume, amen. But see, if you want something from Jesus, you ought to find a way to get to him. Come on now, you ought to find a way to get to him. And it means by any means necessary. These two blind men got to Jesus. And they came to Jesus because they had a need. They had a need. What is it that you have need of with Jesus? What is it that excites you about coming into his presence? The Bible said they had a need because they were blind and they wanted to see. Jesus went to the men, and as he went to the men who had came to him and got in their face, he asked them, do you believe I can do this? And they said, yeah, we believe it. The whole scheme of things in coming to God is believing that he's able to do that which you want him to do. Faith without work is dead. You got to stand on your faith of belief, hope, and faith. The Bible said Jesus did some simple things with that understanding. First thing he did was anoint their eyes that they might be able to see. Amen. What is it about your eyes that's causing you not to be able to see? The Bible said that Jesus anointed their eyes, and when he touched their eye, they were made to see. When they were made to see, they got to the place where he, first of all, definitively said to them, now don't tell nobody about your miracle. Amen. It wasn't that Jesus couldn't stand folk knowing who he was, but he said, don't tell nobody about your miracle. You see, Jesus was always having folk come to him just to get a blessing. Oh, come on now. See, when you come to get a physical blessing, you miss the spiritual aspect of the blessing. Can I get a witness? You see, if you're going to be a church of action, you got to, first of all, ask what action are you noted for. Can I get a witness? You see, folk were always coming to Jesus to get the blessing from the physical, but then they went back out in the physical and didn't receive the spiritual. Oh, what are you talking about, preacher? You know, weeks ago I was trying to tell you about those who had came to Jesus who had a physical ailment, amen. The physical ailment that they had caused them to have leprosy, amen. And in the midst of that, they had turned as white as snow, amen. And when all of them had came to Jesus, they came to Jesus, about 7 of them, and they were looking to be healed, amen. And when they were looking to be healed, Jesus healed them, but only one came back to receive an understanding from God that I thank you, amen. See, he that came back not just to get the physical healing and say thank you, but he got made whole. See, to be made whole, you got to first of all know that whatever you came for, God is going to give you exceedingly and abundantly more than what you came for. But what are you noted for? Now, if Jesus was noted for healing Jairus' daughter, if Jesus was noted for healing the woman with the issue of blood, if Jesus was noted for recruiting that all of the disciples might come into the fold to do what he did, if Jesus was noted for healing these two blind men, then what are you noted for, church? Let me first of all talk to your personal church. Can I get with it? You see, many folk are following you use some of them for just what they can get. Can I get a witness? How many folk can I talk to this morning? Got some folks following you because you blessed in your pocket. How many, who am I talking to this morning? It's somebody here where everybody talking about they're going through tough times and this ain't happening, that ain't happening. You got some real money in the bank. Matter of fact, you don't even add your bank account up because you got some show enough money. But you got some folks following you just so they can get a financial blessing from you. Who am I talking to this morning, amen? You got some folk that's following you simply because they know when they're around you, they get fed, amen. You like the Kool-Aid mom, amen, the Kool-Aid dad. Well, somebody always over your house because they can get stuff at your house. Can I get a witness? If they can't get stuff nowhere else, they can get stuff at your house. Who am I talking to this morning? You got some folk, they like running with you because when they run with you, you pay for everything. They tickets, you pay for the ticket. If it's a ride, you pay for the ride. If we going on a trip, you pay for everything. Oh, who am I talking to today? You got some folk that hang around you because they get blessed by being in your face. But what are you noted for? The church of God ought to be noted for being a church of action. I said a church of action. A church of action. A church of action. When folk ask about you, folk ought to be able to tell them you're a church of action. You're a church that get things done. You're a church that when folk fall in line with you, they fall in the benefit of the blessing of church of action. Well, if the church has to be called to action, then your person needs to be called to action. What do you know it for? Some of us, I know it for being the lyingest scoundrels in the world. Oh, I don't know who I'm talking to this morning. Ain't nobody going to know themselves. Ain't nobody going to talk about themselves. But you got to know people are talking about you because of your action. Some folks, I know it because you have a great con, a great thievery. In the world, you somebody that's slick, super slick. You know, I don't care who you are. You got something that people say you're good at. It's the good, it's the bad, and the ugly. What are you noted for? Some women are noted for being fast. Oh, come on, I know it's been a little while, ladies. I know it's been a little while. I know it's been a long time, amen. But some ladies are noted for being fast. And folks say, that's a fast. Come on now, can I get with that? Some guys are noted for being here. Easy. Every time something happens, they just follow the crowd. It doesn't matter where the crowd goes. They just follow the crowd. They're in this game today and that game tomorrow. What are you noted for? What action are you noted for? Because your actions speak louder than your words. Amen. Am I right about it? Amen. Jesus was noticed for action. When Jesus showed up, things happened. He was telling these two blind men not to go tell everybody because he got tired of folk coming to him just to get the stuff. Come on now, just to get the blessing, and they left without the spiritual interlude that he was trying to give them. Why do folk come to you? Three things folk ought to come to you for. First thing folk ought to come to you for is because you're able to make a way out of no way. Oh, come on now. You don't have to be a lawyer, no judge to make a way out of no way. God will give you a gift that when you show up, stuff happens. Oh, I'm so happy today to have our councilman here today, Councilman Dudley, amen. And Councilman Dudley is a man in this community of Ward 1 where things happen because he say so. But you know what? You don't have to be a councilman to make things happen because you say so. You can just be a child of God with power that have in your heart the ability that you want to change some stuff and see how God would make some stuff happen. What do you know that for? Do you need a title to operate for God? You know what? Sometimes I tell preachers that tell me, you know what? I need some preaching time. When I'm going to preach, you know what? You got street corners on every street. You ought to just go preach. If God called you, he equips, he qualifies. Just preach, baby. Can I get a witness? I'll never forget when God called me. I was speaking. I was not preaching, but somehow God gave something to me that I could be able to say to people. I was speaking at Mary Kay parties talking about Jesus. Oh, somebody gonna miss that in just a minute. Somebody gonna get not because I had a fire on the inside and I had to tell somebody that God was real. So when folk would call, I would answer. Can I get a witness? Why are you noticed for? Jesus was noted for healing. Jesus was noted that he could intercede on situations and stuff. Why are you noted for? You're a church of action. Folk ought to come to you because when they get to you, stuff happens. What happens when folk get to you? Point two, what ought to happen is you ought to be in a place where you understand when folk come to you, you have a sense of responsibility with what God gives you, a sense of responsibility. Don't you know God ain't going to send nobody to you without you having the answer?